Speaking of news, the hell is this? Sony patented AI generated video game tutorials this year, and it sounds like a nightmare. This is an article from Patricia Hernandez, and yes, you read that title correctly. Tutorials might well be the bane of the video game industry's existence. Teaching a player how to do something is surprisingly difficult to do. Even if a developer crafts an educational and entertaining tutorial, there's no telling whether the player will find it, try it, or pay enough attention to learn from it. When was the last time you actually used the PlayStation 5's built-in game help feature? Exactly. Perhaps this is why Sony has been exploring more ways to get players on the same page, this time with AI. I haven't read the rest of this article. I'm going to assume this. This is what I'm going to assume. I bet there's going to be some sort of AI agent on your PlayStation that if you get stuck in a game, it's just going to do it for you based on YouTube tutorials. It's going to search the web. It's going to search Twitter. It's going to search Reddit. It's going to know exactly how to beat it. And as soon as you just go, I can't do it, play it for me, it takes over. As spotted by Boing Boing, there's a Sony patent dating back to April that seems to have gone under the radar despite its curious premise. In it, Sony proposes the idea of ghost assistants, where the game session connects to an artificial intelligence engine. That engine generates what Sony calls a ghost character, who will basically show the player what needs to be done in that specific portion of the game. Fellas, there was a time, I just want you to know, there was a time where I remember being a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, playing Mario or Donkey Kong. And I remember there were levels I just could not beat. And there was nothing that showed up and said, hey, let me help you. The best I could do was ask my aunt, who was about 6, 7 years older than me, and plead with her to possibly help me beat a mission. That was all we had. You either got good or you started over. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to come off like, I feel like I'm really coming off like on everybody, but this is getting ridiculous. The interactive actions by the ghost character are configured to progress the ghost character along an interactive path of the game. The patent reads, based on phrasing, it seems that players will need to have a specific mode turned on in order for any of this to trigger, which theoretically means that you can opt out of seeing random ghosts telling you what to do. Players will also be able to control how much help the ghost AI actually provides. The AI might guide the player with an overlay of what needs to be done, or it could give the player examples of the specific button inputs needed to progress through the game. The ghost can hold an interactive conversation with the player using natural language, like you might when speaking to AI like Grok. And of course, the ghost can simply do whatever you need for you. Imagine playing a game, Elden Ring, and you're like, bro, I can't even make it past Sentinel. What do I do? AI save me. AI ghosts you, drops in, doesn't get hit, takes out the Sentinel. Look, here's the thing. Gaming companies are gonna have to push back on this because that ruins the prestige of playing those games. You know what I mean? Actually getting good enough to beat those games. It's legal. It's legal aimbots. Obviously, they cannot do this for multiplayer games. Just cannot do it. Dude, right here where it says the ghost can hold an interactive conversation with the player using natural language. I tell you what this will solve. You'll never have to go to YouTube again and look up a guide. You could just be like, hey, Sony AI or whatever the hell it's going to be called. I need to get the Praxic blade. Take me there. Now do the mission. You see where I'm coming from? Can I ask you guys, how do you feel about this? Burn it. It's good. I don't care. Nuke the whole generation. Here's where I would like to see AI use. I do like being able to interact with NPCs that essentially always has fresh dialogue to them. You know what I mean? Because of AI. I know there's a lot of people that feel a certain kind of way about this, but like obviously have voice actors still do their thing, that you record all the voice lines. What's the game here recently that did it? Is it Where Winds Meet? There was a game we recently played where you can interact with NPCs and it's AI. You can have like natural conversations with them. Now, some of you are like, Cross, I don't want that shit. I'll never do it. But let me ask you, what if you could talk to Mara? Would you do it? Like have natural conversation with Mara. You could talk to her about anything. I mean, when I say you could talk to NPCs about anything, you could be like, obviously they'll have certain prompts and restrictions, but you could be like, hey, how do you feel about Venezuela? What's your take, Mara? Cross, I'm just saying, you could. That's how AI is going to win because of gooners like you. No, I'm saying that's okay. That version of AI is fine. This version, though, I got a problem with. Now, it's worth keeping a few things in mind here. Though Sony repeatedly uses the word AI, this does not necessarily mean that the feature will be similar to the controversial technology powering things like ChatGPT. But the wording of the patent certainly sounds like it. Sony specifies that the AI will be trained from a plurality of training footage sources. So for Destiny, it's going to look up esoteric. And it's going to be like, all right, I got you. We're going to solo this Nightfall, no deaths. That it will use to analyze live gameplay so it can offer the player contextual help. That footage can be based on previous playthroughs of the game generated by other users, both in network and out of network, as well as anything online that it might deem helpful, like social media posts or website descriptions. The patent also specifies that the game engine could be distributed among a plurality of processing entities, each of which may reside on different server units of a data center. Another aspect that makes this sound like our more modern understanding of AI is that Sony says the ghost can look like basically anything. The ghost character can be represented as a character from a movie, a character figure from another game, or a user-generated character. My God, this sounds very similar to what Razer just talked about here recently, right? And their little pod character you can buy. Later on, the patent specifies that the AI model can continuously learn from game scenarios posed by other sources as the user makes progress. So let me get this right. It's not playing for you, but I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's not taking over your controls, right? It's a ghost character that runs in front of you. Like you call in your AI companion. You're like, I can't figure this puzzle out. Do it. And it goes over there and taps the wall, taps that side of the wall and makes the door open. So hold on, right here. It says Sony helpfully provides an example in this patent. By way of example, the ghost character can be an animated representation of all-knowing Yoda from Star Wars. By way of example, Yoda can provide not just interactive moves to show how to play specific scenarios of the game, but can also provide verbal communication to the player character 109, which is listed by the player 107. The ghost assistant therefore can be a combination of moves and actions and interactive action performed by the ghost character, or could be in the form of verbal or gestures provided that can be viewable by the player 107 controlling player character 109 in the game scene during a game session. If the verbal gesture is provided by the animated character Yoda, the visual representation of Yoda can be rendered in the form of Yoda speaking back to the character controlled by the player. What the fuck's Disney got to say about this, huh? Don't they own Yoda? You can't just spawn in Yoda to be your mentor. Now, the patent also poses the possibility of having the AI technology track the gaze of the user or use a camera to capture images of the IRL space the player occupies. If that sounds like a security nightmare, well, there's still reason to hold some hope. A patent is not guaranteeing that the company in question will actually do whatever is described in the document. Patents is describe a myriad of possibilities that may not bear out in the end product. The 2025 patent is also the latest iteration of patent Sony filed back in 2023. If something like the AI Ghost ever does come to life, it may not be until we get PlayStation 6. And based on what's happening with graphic cards and memory chips right now, it's increasingly looking like new consoles won't be a reality anytime soon. All the same, it's a little harrowing to think someone might use the resource equivalent of burning down a forest just to see Mr. Beast beat Cuphead or something. Yeah, so let me say this about patents. Most patents are pretty broad. What a lot of companies do with if there's some frontier technology and they're onto something, they'll file a patent. That's a bit broad, and they'll file actually multiple patents, and usually non-provisional. And essentially what you're just trying to do is you're trying to secure the what ifs. This though, the IRL space thing is exactly what the Razer product that's being sold this year. And yes, we're getting it. It will be a little thing that sits on your desk. It will look at you. You can ask it things. You'd be like, hey, does this shirt look good? Is my wiener big? These are all the things you're going to be able to ask it. As far as I know, no one can stop you. And look, if they want to, if they want to set up a camera, if Sony wants to set up a camera in everyone's living room to watch them, brother, you're going to see some raunchy shit. You know where I'm coming from? And there's a lot of people that won't give a fuck. You know what I mean? There's some of us out there like, no, I want security. And then there's other people that are going to be just putting it right into the camera eye. I'm telling you fellas, mark my words. They're going to be like, yeah, IT, you want to take a look at this? Can you imagine an entire library of just heinous things like that? You know what I mean? Like AI is like, we have a folder. We never go in this folder, but it's just the nastiest shit you can imagine. And that's how we defeat AI. Yeah, guys, I can see where this can be beneficial. At the same time, I think games are meant to be difficult. Not all games. Like if you want to like, you know, mess around and your little mobile game or something like that. But I feel like the best games are the ones that are a little difficult. And because where you have the drop and the frustration of being stuck. On the other side of that, you have the huge dopamine release of figuring it out. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. At the same time, though, I could see it being good for the most casual players out there. Like, for instance, if you were playing Skyrim and you were at a puzzle in Skyrim and you just couldn't figure it out. And I don't know, maybe based on that experience, you're just gonna quit the fucking game, right? I mean, my opinion is if you quit, you're a bitch. If finding the right claw key was the difference between you staying and playing Skyrim or not, you're just a bitch. I mean, there ain't no other way around. But for game companies and Sony and everyone else, they obviously want you to stay in the game. You know what I mean? By the way, if you're in here saying, I'm tired of hearing about AI, brother, it's all around us. There's shit everywhere. You better get used to it. Let me just say this. If you don't want to hear about AI, you might want to join the Amish. That's about the only way you're going to get out of it. And even then, I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised somewhere in an Amish community right now, Jebediah probably breaking out some chat GPT. You know what I mean? Somebody's probably got grok around there.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.